Sir Nicholas Bagenal Bagnall was an English-born soldier and politician who became Marshal of the Army in Ireland. Early life. He was born the second son of John Bagenall, a tailor who served as Mayor of Newcastle-under-Lyme, by his wife Eleanor, daughter of Thomas Whittingham of Middlewich, Cheshire and cousin of William Whittingham, Dean of Durham. His elder brother, Sir Ralph Bagenal, was one of Henry VIII's courtiers. In 1538 Nicholas fled to Ireland to escape justice for killing a man in the Staffordshire village of Leek. His two brothers were apparently also involved in this crime. In Ireland he became acquainted with Con O'Neill, 1st Earl of Tyrone, and on the 7th of December 1542 the Irish Council, at the suit of Tyrone, begged the king for pardon of Bagenall. Bagenall returned to England in April 1544 and took part in the campaign in France in the following summer. The Bagnalls had family links with the Irish government through Sir Patrick Bagnall, who was the Master of the Rolls in Dublin and married to a cousin of Nicholas. This connection may help to explain how Nicholas was recommended for military service in France in 1544. His descendants gave the name to Bagnall's town in Carlow. During the colonial wars, his whole family were involved in the undertaking of land in Ireland. Career. In March 1547 he was appointed Marshal of the Army in Ireland by Edward VI. In November 1551 he was sent by James Croft to expel the Scots who had invaded Dufferin. He was knighted in the same year, and on the 22nd of April 1552 was granted the lands of St. Patrick's and St. Benedict and St. Mary's Abbey of Newry and the Cistercian Abbey of Carlingford, County Louth. When Mary I's succession took place, Bagnall lost his office of Marshal, which she conferred on Sir George Stanley. Accordingly, with this change on the 7th of May 1556 he was fined £1,000. In 1559 he was elected to Parliament as member for Newcastle-under-Lyme. When Queen Elizabeth I of England succeeded to the throne on her sister's passing, Sir George Stanley was asked to continue as Marshal in Ireland, and on the 23rd of April 1562 Bagnall wrote to the Queen complaining that his lands brought him in nothing, owing to the depredations of Shane O'Neill. Bagnall was reduced to the role of a captain until Sir Nicholas Bagenal's recommendations induced the Queen to reappoint him Marshal in 1565, with Sir Henry Sidney as deputy. Bagenall's patent was dated the 5th of October 1565, but he had scarcely taken up the office when, early in 1566, he entered into an agreement to sell it and his lands to Sir Thomas Stukeley, who was a close friend of the Pope. The Queen was unhappy with the arrangement and insisted he remain Marshal. In May 1577 Sir Nicholas was also appointed Chief Commissioner of Ulster, with his son Henry Bagenal, born 1556 in Carlingford, as his assistant. He was involved in some military disasters, such as a defeat at Glenmalure on the 25th of August 1580 when Lord Grey led the troops into battle with Fiach MacHugh O'Byrne and Viscount Baltinglass in the Wicklow mountain passes. In 1584, Bagenall was colonel of the garrison at Carrickfergus when 1,300 of Sawley Boy MacDonald's Scots landed on Rathlin Island. Bagenall attacked but was ambushed at Glenarm and had to retreat. On the 26th of August 1583, his son, now Sir Henry Bagenal, obtained the reversion of the post of Marshal and acted as his father's deputy. Sir Nicholas was appointed Chief Commissioner on the 6th of July 1584 for the government of Ulster, and in April 1585 he was returned to the Irish Parliament as member for County Down. In January 1586, Sir John Perrot complained that Nicholas Bagenal was too old to perform his duties as Marshal. A feud between Bagnall and Perrot lasted until the Lord Deputy was recalled. On one occasion there was an affray between the two in Perrot's house, where they were both drinking heavily. Bagenal was pushed to the ground after lunging out at Perrot. On the 20th of October 1590, Bagenal resigned the office of Marshal, asking for the post to be conferred on his son, Sir Henry. It is presumed that Sir Nicholas died at Newry Castle in February 1591. It is more than likely the case that he died in the Green Castle where he lived with his son Henry. He is presumed buried in the tower of St. Patrick's Church, which he is alleged to have built at 1578. Nicholas Bagenal was born in 1508. His son Henry was killed during the greatest defeat the English suffered in Ireland at the Battle of Yellow Ford, on the 14th of August 1598. Family. Sir Nicholas married Eleanor Griffith, daughter of Sir Edward Griffith of Penryn, and had at least 9 children. Some were born in Newry Castle. Henry was born in Carlingford. Sir Henry Bagenal, Dudley Bagenall, Ambrose, Mabel, Countesses of Tyrone, who married Hugh O'Neill, 2nd Earl of Tyrone; Mary, who married Patrick Bagnall; Margaret, who married Sir Christopher Plunkett; Frances, who married Oliver Plunkett, 4th Baron Louth; Isabel, who married Sir Edward Kynaston; Anne Sarsfield, Viscountess Sarsfield, who married firstly Dudley Loftus and secondly Dominic Sarsfield, 1st Viscount Sarsfield. Henry succeeded his father as Marshal, played a leading part in the 9 Years' War, and was killed in action against his brother-in-law Tyrone at the Battle of the Yellow Ford in 1589 in County Armagh. Dudley became a major landowner in County Carlow. He was ancestor of the Bagenall family of Bagnallstown. He was killed in a skirmish with the local Kavanagh family. Mabel eloped with Hugh O'Neill, 2nd Earl of Tyrone. She became one of the most romantic figures in Irish history, the Helen of Troy of the Elizabethan Wars. Mabel and Mary are major characters in the play Making History by Brian Friel. The father and brother Henry are frequently referred to but do not appear on stage. The landowner and politician Nicholas Bagenal, who was the Member of Parliament for Anglesey and Custis Rotalorum of Anglesey, lived 1629 to 1712, was the grandson of Sir Henry.